Hello everyone, welcome again to our latest Novedge webinar episode. Today, introducing solidThinking Evolve 2016. This webinar will introduce attendees to the ultimate hybrid modeling system. The tool combines solid, surface, and polygonal modeling with the best-in-class rendering engine. Evolve allows its user to set their creativity free with its industry-leading flexibility and feature set. But a little bit more about today's presenter. Francesco Di Giuseppe was born in Central Italy 27 years ago. He holds a master in industrial and product design with the final project in automotive design and has past experiences in automotive and furniture design. He is now an application specialist for solidThinking Evolve. Before we get going, here's an overview of what we do in Novedge. Novedge is one of the largest online stores for design software. We offer a huge assortment of software solutions that cater to virtually every designer's need. Put us to the test and can visit our webpage at novedge.com. And for more daily software news and limited time promotions, also pay a visit to the Novedge blog and follow us on Facebook, Google+, and Twitter. Coming up next week, organic surface modeling and reverse engineering with Cyborg 3D. And last but not least, today's webinar is free and it's being recorded live. So if you want to rewatch this or any webinar episode in our collection, just head on over to Novedge's YouTube and Vimeo channels. And now, without further ado, I'm going to pass the screen to Francesco, and so he can start his demo on the new features of solidThinking Evolve 2016. We can see your screen. Francesco, take it away.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for attending to this webinar. Again, I'm Francesco. I'm from Italy, so expect some nice accents during the webinar. Anyway, without further ado, I don't know how many of you know Evolve. Evolve is a hybrid modeler. Why do we call this a hybrid modeler? Because it combines a bit of two words, really. The word of NURBS surfacing, the word of solid modeling, and also the word of rendering from the latest releases. So we combine a package altogether to work in very various and very different areas in terms of design and in terms of projects. So brief history about Evolve. Evolve was born as solidThinking in Italy, so from '91. Then it was acquired in 2008 by Altair Engineering. So after year, Altair refined more and more the program and also provided a new name, a new brand, which is now Evolve. And solidThinking basically is the name of the company behind the tools. Again, the design process in Evolve. Evolve was born as a tool to be used from concept modeling, ideation, all the way through manufacturing. Why? Because Evolve is a very flexible tool. It allows you to modify your objects. It allows you to create a lot of variance, a lot of flexibility all the way through the modeling, and you can really start with 3D. You can really start with your idea of 3D and evolve this idea all the way through your process. So it fits basically inside your workflow in any of these spaces. So this is why also we called it Evolve. So this is the reason. So it combines surface modeling, solid modeling, polygonal modeling. We will see this this in a bit with my demo. And also it features construction history. As we said, you can create, you can generate a lot of variance without redoing stuff, without redoing your model all the way through. And it combines also all of this package is combined with the photorealistic rendering, so you don't have to switch programs while you work. This is really important for timing and for schedules. So we talked about these three modeling areas we cover, so surface modeling, solid modeling, polygonal modeling. And for example, this is one of the cases. So you have a really organic, really nice flowing design, really nice flowing structure, but you also want to insert details which are mechanical details, which are complex parts you get from maybe other softwares, or maybe you design the inside Evolve as well, but more of a constraint. So, and also you can see you can also render these images, these projects with a really nice quality. Without really further ado, I just wanted to make a brief introduction to the program. We can start right away and jump into our demo. So basically, if you didn't if you don't have like familiarity with this tool, this is how Evolve works and looks. So for 2016, we changed a bit the interface appearance. So we changed the color palette of the program, of the main interface, with lighter colors to improve visibility, to improve readability of the icons, and all of these, all of our scripts and panels. Basically, during this demo, I will build a very simple object. As you can see, it's just a chair. But we will see a lot of the tools and a lot of the improvements we put inside our latest release. And we also want to know some feedback from you. If you like these features, if you want to know more, ask questions, feel free to interact with us. So, for example, let's start with the first, really the first thing normally that I do in terms of designing a new object, or designing something really in 3D. The main thing for most of us would be try to import something. So try to import a background image inside our views. In this case, we revised this tool inside Evolve 2016 with a new, more interactive tool, which you can find again in the view, background image. For example, I will now remove this image and show you how to browse and insert your image inside the view. In this case, as you can see, browse, you can find your image in your folder, put your image in. You have all the controls to adjust your image. First of all, if you want it free or if you want it centered inside the view. Now here I have some parameters already set up for my demo, but I can bring this all to 0 to show you. So center, it centers right away in our view, or you can have it free, so you can move it freely into space. You can also see you can snap to the grid below, so you see a lot of dots, a lot of lines. All these lines are snaps for points inside Evolve, so you can snap this image to the grid, and it will basically you can basically use it as a reference for you to help you adjust your image. In this case, I also want to know maybe a couple of dimensions already. It's just a reference. It's not something that you have to strictly be precise or whatnot, but it helps you. It helps the design process to start with some reference, with some dimensions. So here, for example, I put 50 centimeters for this horizontal dimensions. And you can see the aspect ratio gets basically constraint to your original image. So if you already thought about having a certain proportion in your image, you can leave it there and just change maybe one dimension and scale it up without losing proportions. Or maybe just do some crazy changes. It's up to you really. So it doesn't matter what you do. We can do it. So in this case, I want to change, for example, my position here because I want it centered. So minus 25. I have 50 in the horizontal dimension. So that is fine. You can also change, for example, the transparency of your image. So if this is something I really like because it doesn't have to be intrusive in your process. You just have to have a reference of some sort. So this is really important. So background image, one of the new tools. Another nice feature just to focus on this area of the view of the screen. We also introduced the lock camera to lock the camera position. So you can see this small lock in the right area of the view. As you can see now, I cannot move my image in any way possible. So I'm zooming, I'm trying to zoom, I'm trying to pan. I cannot do anything because I locked my camera. And this is really important when you're trying to find the best view possible to render, and you don't want to lose it, so you just lock your camera. Maybe create some new cameras, create some nice views for your object, and you don't want to mess them up, so you just lock the camera and you're good to go. Okay, let me close this. Okay, another really nice feature that we introduced with 2016 is the snapshot feature. So the snapshot feature is like a very basic picture of your modeling view. This is really very helpful when you basically you just want to give a customer, or you just want to give someone a preview of the object without doing a rendering. So maybe you want to change the color of the object dynamically from using the layers, for example, or you just want to see how the object changes its appearance with changing some of the colors. So with a snapshot, basically what you can do is you can create a snapshot of this view. You can also change the background to transparent or to any color you want with the slider and the color spectrum here. You can also show or not show the grid. In this case, I don't show it because I don't have it already. And of course, this takes me right away into another new revised area of 2016, of Evolve 2016, which is the image browser. So as soon as you take a snapshot like this, or as soon as you do a rendering, a test rendering, whatever. Here I have some test renderings I was doing for a training, for example, to show different textures, different things to my students. Here's some test renderings. So this image browser basically involves all the images created inside Evolve and brings them into this easy to use panel, where you can basically scroll down the last 20 images by default. You can increase this number of stored images in the preferences, and you can decide really how to save them. So save as, you can save them as a number of formats here on the panel, or you can simply just delete them or just preview them. For example, when you do renderings, you also have all the information about renderings in this view. And you can zoom and you can pan your images in this area as well. So the image browser is another of the new features we have inside 2016. So going on, I want to show you also some modeling. So I will hide this chair. Going on here, for example, I want to try and now do something with this image I have. So let's start by just drawing a simple curve here. So I'm just following, randomly following these lines. I don't want to do anything too precise or too constrained. It's just to show you some nice modeling. So you can see that I also put a reference in my right view here, and just moving the points where I need them. For example, here, I can move them here. And again, you can see that I'm using my grid as a reference to snap to a certain point. So let's see now one of the tools that we have inside Evolve to generate this tubular structure. We can start, of course, with a profile. We can start with a profile or with a rail, of course. And one of the tools we really paid attention for Evolve 2016 is the sweep tool. So the sweep tool allows you to do exactly these kind of modeling, these kind of structures, these kind of surfaces. So sweep tool, you just pick your profile, you pick your path, and you can see that it creates this nice tubular structure. What happens if I now move, for example, this profile? So you can see that the thing that really drives this design in this case is this profile. So if I move this profile, you can see that the design changes. We thought that we could add some functionality to this tool. It's a nice tool, but I mean, we have a lot of surface generating tools inside Evolve, and we are trying really to condensate these tools to just 2 or 3 main tools to use. So we decided to give this sweep tool a nice twist. If you look closely, you can activate another functionality of the sweep tool pressing Control. So Control on the sweep tool, and in this case it invokes an auto alignment tool, auto alignment functionality for the sweep. What does this mean? It means that if I now select this profile here and select my curve, you can see that the two curves are now linked, but the thing that really drives the design is my rail. So my profile is independent. I can move it and nothing changes. But this is not really the power of this tool. The power of this tool is that you can simply generate a different structure without having to position your profiles on this rail, without paying attention to snap to the correct area or to the correct height. So Control again, circle 1, circle 2, and my rail. So you can see that now my rail is basically multi-profile, multi-shape geometry, multi-shape surface, and I can really go into detail and change, for example, the position of this profile here, so I can change the point where it gets applied on the path, for example. As you can see, I'm moving my profile all the way up like this. You can see that now my profiles here are twisted, they are not aligned, but there's no problem because I can align my profile back again with the rotation controls of the sweep. So you can see that really what was a simple profile and path tool now becomes something different. It becomes something which is way more powerful than before. And let me show you another thing. For example, I can even change to, let's say, a square here. So how it is to like design something that from a circle becomes a square. So you can see that the transition between the circle and the square, it's really gradual, it's really nice, and you can see it has no problem generating even these complex blends, these complex surfaces that go from a circular to a square, basically a multi-edge profile. For this matter, since we are talking about building some profiles for our rail, I can show you, for example, another nice tool we introduced with the 16. Just taking this circle here, simply scaling it up a bit, and let's say that we want to create a strange profile here, so something that is not really common, because we like to explore. We said that this is a tool for exploration and design. So this is the intersect curve tool, which is a new tool for 16. You can see that I selected my curves all together, and simply by pressing the spacebar I can delete the segments that I don't want, for example, and create a combination of the two profiles into one single line. You can also, for example, use this tool deciding if you want to use a tool curve, or deciding what you want to use as a tool curve. For example, I want to use this as a tool curve, and this the thing that I want to cut. Again, in this case, there's no use in having this type of profile, but it was just to show you this nice feature that can also be useful sometimes. So let's go back to our original idea. So create some nice profile, some crazy profile for our chair, for example. Again, in this case, I can select my sweep tool. I can select my profile here, and I can select the same profile twice, for example, because this is not a regular profile. It's has some edges. It has it's not common, right? So I select it twice, and I select my path here. So why I selected it twice? Because now I can control the two sides of my sweep. So I can control the rotation like this, so I can see how it blends, if I like it. If I don't like it, I can change it. So now I like the fact that this curved part is it's going towards me, or I can twist it and have the edge part that is facing it's facing me. So again, this is the combination of these two tools, as you can see, can give you some pretty interesting pretty nice structures. So going on with the demo, with the design, we are just exploring. So we can pick up from this curve, for example, and we can continue drawing this curve. 1 point here and 1 point here. So you can see now I didn't have my grid snapped. So I can now pick these points and adjust them where they need to be, so I can control them. Again, here, for example, my points, you can see they are kind of went all the way through my x-axis, but I can move them back here with my modifier. So for example, here now you can see that I have to adjust my twisting because again, this profile needs to be updated. Probably in this case 90 degrees of rotation, it's fine. As you can see, it's nice and clean on the front area. And now we're going to go and simply mirror this structure on this side. We can combine these two surfaces, and again we can mirror these two, this combine we did on the other side, and combine again. So what I did is simply start from a surface, so from something that was basically open, okay, and I turn it into solid. So why I'm saying a solid? Well, this was a surface. Why it's a solid? So let me just demonstrate to you how in Evolve surfaces and solids can coexist. So let's, for example, go ahead and draw a rectangle, a circle. So this circle, for example, we want to use it to create a hole inside this structure we had, because we want to fix it to the seating, right? So we take our trim tool, we take our small circle, we take our structure, we trim it, and you can see it already. This is a solid because the trim, you can see it generated automatically my inside surface for this trim. Why this? Because inside Evolve we have solid modeling kernel, which is Parasolid, and it's the same exact modeling engine you can find in SolidWorks, but in Evolve, as you can see, it's combined with the flexibility of modeling of NURBS surfacing. So why having constraint in terms of flexibility, in terms of freedom of modeling, without having the chance to use a solid quality geometry. So this is why we call it a hybrid modeler, because you can jump to a surface, a very complex surface, and you can jump to a really nice and close solid. You can also switch to a surface anytime you want. For example, in this trim, we can switch and we can decide if we want to use a solid or a surface. So it's up to you, really. It's up to the user to decide. And this is why Evolve is really a tool for freedom and for freedom of modeling. So these were some of the new tools we had for traditional modeling, let's say. So we saw a bit of new tools for curves, so the intersect curve. We saw the sweep. For example, now we can see another surface, another new feature for surfaces. So I wanted to jump to PolyNurbs, but I really wanted to show you this new feature as well first. So let's draw this profile here. So let's try and use our reference in the background to draw really some, I don't know, some profile here for this chair. Maybe I want to modify it because this design is quite simple, so you can change a bit the points here. Again, I'm showing you some tools. I'm not explaining all the tools. Of course, you can go to the solidThinking website and maybe download a trial and try it yourself, but just showing you some of the main tools we have for 16. Again, I'm using the mirror tool here to mirror this on the other side. Another tool that we revised for 2016 is our main, again, as I said before, our main tool for surfaces, which is the loft, basically. So we decided, we saw the sweep functionality I showed you before, and we thought, why don't we introduce this functionality in the loft as well? And that's what we did. We did exactly the same thing for the loft. So the loft, again, is a tool that allows you to generate surfaces from curves. So allows you to use curves and to really create a grid of curves to generate surfaces. So let me just quickly draw some profiles here. For example, this is now a curve network I can use to generate a surface here. So I can select this curve, I can select these two rails here, and you can see it generates a surface. So this is how the loft is supposed to work until our latest release. So you would have to have all these profiles connected together. So all these profiles had to be touching at some point to generate some geometry. So if I wanted to have here this this surface like that, I would have to simply create these two profiles, these two rails, and then adjust the points. So this was the past. Now we introduced an auto alignment tool for the loft. So again, same as the sweep, was a very good idea. So we introduced the auto alignment also in the loft. So it works exactly the same as in the sweep. So you pick your profiles here 2 times, for example, because I want to control the 2 areas of my chair. I select 1, select 2, and as you can see, I created my surface. What happens here? So you can see that my surface, my profiles are twisted, but I can easily control them with the controls here. So you can see the same exact controls and the same exact freedom you have inside the sweep, you have it also for the loft. And this is really powerful because you don't have to really like struggle to fine-tune your curves, to fine-tune your profiles and building unnecessary curves. Here you just use one reference curve, and it's not even the proper size. It's not even the correct length here. The tool just stretches your curve to your needs, basically. So this is really something you can play with, and it's really powerful. So you can see I'm also rotating the profile to change the surface, the outcome. And again, here you can introduce as many profiles as you want. You can introduce even a middle profile here. to maybe change the concavity in that area. But then again, this is the freedom you gain with the auto alignment also in the loft. Again, another area that I talked to you about in the introduction was some freeform modeling. Freeform modeling inside Evolve means PolyNurbs. So along with the surfacing tools, you will find PolyNurbs on the tool panel, and here you can basically work using a new concept, really a new way of interacting with objects and with geometry. Let me just draw something really quickly. You can see that I'm drawing a plane now, so let me just focus on this perspective view. And this is also really nice to see because perspective view in PolyNurbs, using PolyNurbs is really helpful, and this is really refreshing, a very refreshing way of modeling because you can really interact in 3D with your geometry. So I created a plane, and I created a plane using some subdivisions here. Subdivisions. What are these subdivisions? I will show you right away. So I'm positioning my plane here. You can see that this plane has a certain number of faces and a certain number of edges and a certain number of vertices. For example, I can play with some of these faces here, like this. And you can see that my plane adapts. So all the faces move together. What is the point of this modeling, of this editing? The point is that really you're seeing this, but you're building this. So you're building a NURBS curve, a NURBS surface. So you're building a NURBS geometry. A NURBS geometry that you can control with points, with edges, and with surfaces. So what happens now, I will basically copy my my geometry, and here you can see that I'm showing you also the new rotation tool here, like this, probably not like this, let me, okay, 180. So I copied my PolyNurbs geometry. You can see that these faces here, okay, can be edited, and the editing is aligned to my faces, is aligned to my object. So what happens now? For generating the surface with my curves and my profiles, I had to, of course, build some curves, build some profiles, adjust the points. Here, for example, I can combine these two NURBS surfaces, or PolyNurbs, and for example, and this is a new feature we have inside 2016, I can create a bridge with these edges. So now what I did is basically use my edges here, the edges of my surface, to blend this area and create a smooth transition, a smooth surface. Again, I can select my points here on top, and I can scale them this direction to change the design of this upper part. Same thing I can do again from the front. So this is really PolyNurbs. PolyNurbs is interacting with your object in a really free form and in a really intuitive and visual and direct way. But again, as I said before, inside Evolve, everything that is surface can also be solid. So for example, I can select all these faces, okay, at once, and I can extrude them. I can extrude them inside. As you can see, this becomes a closed space. So, and I can for example, decide how much I want to extrude these faces. So 1 centimeter. As you can see, there is no edge here. Everything is smooth. And everything is smooth because PolyNurbs is actually a bounding box. You can see here, it's a bounding box for your NURBS geometry on the inside. So the bounding box attracts your geometry as a NURBS curve has points that attract the NURBS curve. So what happens if I want to modify, for example, this attraction? Okay, this law of attraction, we can say, for our object. Again, in 2016, we introduced a new way of interacting with these edges. So I want to select my edges here, my edge loop, as we call it, my edge loop. What if I want to refine this edge loop a bit? I can crease the edges, as you can see, and I can make them become basically 100% attracted to my polygon. So this is edge creasing. This is another functionality we introduced in 16. You can see it becomes creased and creased more and more as you push, and you can select multiple edges at a time, and you can leave some of these edges uncreased, for example. You can do that as well. So I can select only my side edges of this chair, and I can crease them to the maximum, and I can leave my other edges uncreased. So, and everything will still be transitioning smooth all the way. Another nice feature we introduced is, for example, the info on the bottom here. On the info panel, you can see all the informations about your object, all the faces, all the edges. If you have, for example, problems, okay, in your object or some bad faces, you can see it there. Another very nice functionality is the advanced selection mode we introduced inside 16. So you don't have to click and click and click to select all these faces. So if I go into my advanced mode and I want to select this area, for example, I can select my loop with just one click, and I can deselect with just one click. So you can see all these arrows here. They point into one direction, and they go and select all the way through that direction. Again, as we saw for blending the edges, we can have the same thing for blending surfaces, so for blending faces. So create bridge, here you can see, create bridge works also for faces, and works for not only for connecting faces, it works for creating holes in my geometry. So I can create a hole, and I can create, for example, another bridge here to connect. So you can see the create bridge is really the tool for doing all these kind of editing to my object. So we saw all the modeling. We saw a lot of modeling, but I also wanted to show you some nice rendering features inside Evolve. So we can go back to my original, let's say, chair. So it's less experimental and less crazy object. You can see we have interactive rendering environment built in inside Evolve. And as you jump into the interactive rendering, you can see that all the tools disappear, and the only thing you have is materials for your rendering. So in 2016, we revised a lot of the textures, a lot of the materials we introduced. For example, metallic flakes for paint. So you can see now you have all these crazy reflections and crazy metallic effects for paints. So just changing to some metallic colors to help you see the difference between a normal and a metallic one. We introduced a new environment, new environment features. For instance, we introduced a lot of new environment maps. So if I change to this to this outdoor map, for example, I can place my chair outdoors, and you can see a nice feature, the ground. So I can, without having any plane underneath my object, I can simply switch on my ground, and I can have my shadows projected into this fictional plane, let's say, so a plane that is only giving me shadows, and can also give me reflections if I want to. So in this case, it's a bit unrealistic because I'm outside and I have some crazy reflections here, but if I go back to my studio environment, you can see that for studio environment shots, this is really, really nice without having to place a plane here and just simply activating my ground. Very nice. We introduced pause for the rendering. So we introduce a pause for the interactive rendering, so your rendering doesn't oversaturate your CPU, and you can pause it just to stop calculating, and you can resume it if you want. So this is nice if you want to, like, if you hate your vents in your computer going crazy crazy loud and you want to just like stop them. This is also a nice side effect of this pause rendering, pause interactive rendering. So again, new environments, new ground feature. I can show you also a new very nice textures for example, for carbon fiber. Carbon fiber was one of the materials that we revised. As you can see, textures are really, really nice. I can show you some examples as well in terms of different types of carbon fiber. You can have it here, so you can have in the top row, you can see the metallic flakes, and you can see the effect the metallic flakes give. You can see on the bottom row the new carbon fiber, for example, and these are only two examples of the new materials we introduced. And finally, really, I wanted to show you some objects, some things that our customers or ourselves do with Evolve, because all of the things that I talked to you about, of course, reflect into the work of our customers and reflect into the creativity of the people that work with Evolve. So these are some examples of our customers' work, and again, of our work with Evolve. So I think that we reached our 45-minute goal for the presentation. So
that looks great, Francesco. That looks really nice. Great work.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Yes.
hope the users, the viewers as well can appreciate the effort we put inside this new release. So
Yeah,
again,
looks like
thank you
they
all
are.
for watching.
Looks like they are. There's a couple of questions actually. One is I know Darren Chilton from the solidThinking team did a great job answering in real time, but I want to mention this one. Scott says, is that a history tree I see on the right? If so, better than Rhino already. And I like to, Darren replied to this question and said it perfectly. History for all types of modeling and geometry, so you can mix and match any tools or processes together. You can think of it as 3ds Max plus Rhino plus SolidWorks plus Keyshot all together in one, all within construction history. So pretty cool,
This is exact.
right?
This is
Right?
exact.
That's a great answer. Also, somebody is asking, I think it's the same person, is that render GPU or CPU based?
I can answer that. I was actually typing that in right now.
Oh, great,
So
Darren.
I'll just answer it live. It's both. We have both GPU and CPU, and we have a combined, which we call the performance mode, which is both CPU and GPU. So if you're afraid you don't have a good enough GPU card, no problem. We'll use all the cores on your CPU that are available. If you do happen to have a really good GPU card, you'll get extra benefit from that as well. So we do both and both together.
Well, thank you, Darren. Thanks for stopping by. And your contribution is priceless. And also, there's one question about pricing, because they say, oh, this is all great, but you know, the price point is a little higher than Rhino and Form Z. So, you foresee any sale prices in the future?
I can address that. So if you know, if you're considering it, and I would put in there, you're comparing it to Rhino plus Form Z, but Rhino and in Form Z, you don't have construction history, you don't have solid modeling geometry, and you don't have, you know, the animations and some of the other things in the same level of rendering. So if you really take a look at what you would have to do to get everything you get in Evolve, Evolve is a pretty good deal as it sits right now. We are adding more and more technology in there, so you know, if anything, the price will go up as we continue to add new features. So you know, I would think of Evolve today as a deal and kind of a steal. So it's only going to go up from here as we add more and more functionality.
Okay, good. But you know, if you want always the best deal, you just come on over to Novedge, and you know, they'll you know, as good as it gets. Also, one more question. Anything new with fillets?
Anything new with fillets? I don't see that one. Why is that one not showing up?
Yes, it just
okay,
came
no
in.
problem.
It just came in this minute.
Okay. We are going to in the future, we're doing a lot with the geometry stuff. The fillets is one of the old legacy tools that has not been updated. So we also have the blend surface tool, and we can do a lot more now with the sweep tool and also the loft tool, which honestly takes the place of some of the filleting tools. And the round tool has been completely updated as well, which has taken some of the pressure off of the need for the fillet tool. But the fillet tool is something that will be updated soon. So there are certain cases where the fillet tool is necessary and is a little bit faster workflow. So we will be updating that soon.
Great news. Okay, I think this is it for the questions, and I will take the screen back, and thank you guys for you know, a great presentation. I will show my screen right now. Just a second. Hopefully you all can see it. A smooth transition. I want to thank everybody for attending, and also I want to remind everyone that to visit our Novedge page at novedge.com, where you can find solidThinking Evolve 2016. Novedge is the best way to buy design software online. And for information on the latest specials, new releases, join the Novedge network on Facebook, Google+, or Twitter. And don't forget that next week's webinar is about organic surface modeling and reverse engineering with Cyber 3D. And to rewatch today's webinar or previous ones, check out our Novedge YouTube and Vimeo channels. Our webinar playlist has webinars for every software taste. Thanks again for joining us. Thank you, Darren and Francesco. Grazie mille, and have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye. Ciao.
Bye-bye.